I am doing good. I am doing good. We got the live on both channels now, man. I'm glad to see you. I know we were having a little bit of trouble with the link here, but you bring more of the energy and everything, man. So I'm glad.
I'm excited to be back again. I had a little technical difficulties. Been a rough weekend for your boy. I'm dealing with knee soreness in my left knee, kind of swelling in my left knee, but I'm all
Ooh,
right. But the show must go on. You know, Jordan did the
yes,
sick
sir.
flu game. LeBron played
It's
with a
going around.
hamstring pull. So we're going to do it.
Let's do it. I like it. We're live on your channel. We're live on my channel. We got a couple people watching. They're ready to talk, especially rural, right? Because I know a lot of people want to talk Williston Chiefland today, but I've got a lot to see about that Union County, Madison County bracket on that side, man. How are you feeling about that draw?
I feel pretty good about the draw. Kind of like last year's draw. I really want to say the rule for last is the best thing forward for
Okay.
us. Say the best for that
Okay.
because not only we have the playoff rule bracket, but we got the first ever Florida Invitational Tournament bracket for rule as well. We'll discuss that in a few as well. I know you got your
I
notes.
like
I
it.
got my notes. So let's hop into it
Yeah.
tonight. Welcome to high school football final here on both our channels. I am your host, Charles Jackson, Jackson Sports Media. To my immediate left, your right, host of the Williston Sports Station show, none other than the Mack man himself, Robert Mack. What's going on, my brother?
What's going on, man? Glad we got finally get it worked out and get everybody some football
Oh,
action because
you got
I'm
you got
excited
your
for
100.
playoffs, bro.
You got your 100 invite so you can join.
Oh, all right. Let me send him one right now. Let me send him
Okay,
one right now
we
because
got
I
a
know we had to do the new link on the new stuff here.
yeah.
So let's hit copy. Bam. Hunter. Oh, do, do, do. Hunter, where'd I? Oh my gosh. Text me real quick, man, because like I can't. I must have forgotten to save his number in here. I'm digging through my thousands of text messages I get right now trying to find him. Oh, nope. Here we go. Got him. Bam. Bam. There he is. All right. Hold on. Before I mess up, let me create new contact. Save, save Hunter in there because I've been talking to him nonstop. I guess I just kept hitting that 386 number, you know?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I'm
Well,
excited, man.
which class are we going to get started with
We're gonna
first
start
then?
off
If
from
we're
the
not going to start
highest.
with rural,
So tonight we're gonna start 3A and work our way down, and then we're gonna do
okay,
4A to 7A later on this week. So
okay, I like it.
So before Hunter gets on, let's talk a little about rule before we break down the rule bracket. How do
Yes,
you
sir.
feel about Willis's seeding? Now we talked about over the weekend. How do you feel about Willis's seeding entering the selection and after the selection process?
So I feel like we got the low end of the stick, but I think they really just wanted us to see Williston Chiefland matchup first round, so they were trying to make it work, right? Because I mean, how else would you have gotten just what's going to be considered one of the primetime matchups in all of Florida in the first round? I know I know there's plenty of good matchups, but does anybody else want to go anywhere else other than Chiefland Friday night if you're within 50 miles of here?
I don't think nobody wants to do that, especially at how hot some of these schools in rural going on. I think that is the marquee matchup of the first round. Two teams that
Hmm.
met in the first game of the regular season down there. Was it at Booster Stadium y'all played?
No, no,
Or was
no.
it
We're in
Chiefland?
Chiefland. So this is going to be the second matchup in Chiefland this year for a Williston Chiefland game.
So y'all lost the first time 18-10. Tell us about the difference between your first go around against Idiots and what you expect this Friday go back to Chiefland.
So I will tell you that the worst game Williston played all season was the first game. Right now, I'm sure that Chiefland has improved as well, but Williston put the ball on the ground four separate occasions on the center quarterback exchange, right? So when you look at the center quarterback exchange, turning it over four times, that's just not something that you're going to be successful in a game and see that just continue to happen, right? So I
Right.
mean, when it boils down to it, I think Williston's going to put a much better product on the field than they did that week one Friday night, where they were also on TV with the Friday Night Rivals series that Allen Law Firm does, because it was on Gainesville NBC 9, and I was just wondering if everybody was a little. Oh, there's Hunter. Damn. I wonder if everybody was just a little nervous, had a little bit of the jitters, you know. I mean, I don't know, but all I know is I expect it to be a much better game on both sides.
Well, I can't wait. We're gonna definitely break more of that game down when we get further in the show. My question to Hunter: what in the great gray sky is all that glow in the background of you? Like you in a suntan booth, my friend.
I think that's probably just the light that I put on beside me, but
You like
Gotcha.
yeah.
you look orange, buddy. You look orange like my shirt, man.
He's got that mood lighting going on because he's ready to get talking football, man.
Hey, man.
My man's
Um,
excited.
and I also okay. So I want to welcome in also Hunter Wins, another one of our co-hosts from 792 Sports, Florida Sports. Welcome in, Hunter.
Glad to be
What's
back.
up?
So we're gonna break down classes 3-8 all the way down to the Rural Florida Invitational Series. So the first region we're talking about, Region 1 of Class 3A, and our top seed in that region is the Rains Vikings. They host Bay in the first round. Wakulla, the 4 seed, will take on Menendez. Bishop Kenny, the 3 seed out of Jacksonville, will take on Baker County. Number 2 seed Got Me hosted Swanee. Do you see anybody upset in Region 1 of Class 3A, Hunter?
I think I would say the one that I could see. Baker County, are they the lower seed in that one?
They're the 6 seed. They
Yeah,
travel to Bishop Kenny.
I could see two potential upsets there. I could see the Baker County Bishop Kenny one, with Baker County getting a win, and I could see Swanee being Godby.
Okay.
Because if you go back and look at the regular season, Swanee did play Godby, and they had a shot to win that game. They were in it up until the end. They just couldn't finish. I believe they turned the ball over quite a bit in that game. They couldn't finish it. Like, they were up in that game and just they couldn't finish in the end. I think, like, anytime you look at a matchup that was that close in the regular season, all bets are off when you get to the playoffs, especially with a team playing them for the second time.
And it's hard to beat a team twice in the same year. Since Williston and Chief, and they got their rematch going on down there in Levy County this upcoming Friday. Let's go on to Region 2. You have Ugalele as the 1 seed hosting Crystal River, the 8 seed. Titusville, the 4 seed, hosting 5 seed at Merritt Island. Mount Dora, the 6 seed, traveling to 3rd seed to Delaware. Good season for the Tigers down there in Marion County. And then Bishop Moore hosting Eastside. My question to you, Robert, do you think that Rams can pull up the upset down there against Bishop Moore this Friday?
I think they can, because number one, I've seen Eastside in person this year, and I was still pretty impressed with the product they put on the field. They gave Williston a great game, albeit I think if it's in Williston instead of on Citizen Field, then Williston might have taken a run with it, because Williston actually just beat another 3A playoff football team. And so and they're in Region 3 up there with Hardy, right? And the Wildcats, I think the Wildcats would not beat Eastside in a game straight up on the same field, right? So I think Eastside can definitely pull the upset.
What about you, Hunter? You think the Rams could pull off the upset down there in Orlando against Bishop Moore?
I think that they would have had a shot of it, but I think that was probably the worst draw they could have gotten in that region. I think Bishop Moore is the team that comes out of that region in the end.
So you say Bishop Moore will get out of that region?
I think so.
So you don't think the
Yep.
Lakers will get pretty far out of this region, do you?
Who was the 1 seed again? That was I think it kind of cut out a little bit on that one.
I don't know how to pronounce the school name. Ugalele. I don't know where
Yeah,
they're
I forget
from.
exactly how to pronounce that.
I know every year I've been doing it, it's been a hard time for me to pronounce that school's name. But the Nels are third seed in their region. Eastside is the seventh seed in their region. Chris Rivers the eighth seed, and they got Titusville the four, and Bishop Moore the two.
Here, I'm looking up the high school on Wikipedia to see if it's got a phonetic pronunciation here,
It's
because I just know they're from Melbourne.
yeah, it's Eaugaille. It's kind of like
Uagali?
French.
Oh, that's Uagali.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
Ugali.
Okay.
they're good.
It's called
I
Ugali.
forgot about. Yeah, they're really good. They actually, I believe they played Lincoln very recently.
So they're a pretty good football program. I remember last year, if I'm not
Yeah, they
mistaken,
beat Vero, right? They beat Vero very early in the season too.
right. Because I remember them last year, they made a deep, pretty good run last year in the playoffs.
And see, I actually like Dunellen coming out of the bottom part of that bracket, but losing to the number one seed out of in the regional championship. So
Ooh.
I think Dunellen's going to put together a big run.
So you,
Like I like the two local teams. I'm going East Side and Dunellen on the bottom half, and I'm going Ugali and Titusville in the top half with Ugali beating Titusville, Dunellen beating East Side, and then Ugali winning the regional final.
okay. I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah, I,
That's
I didn't know
that's
who I
me
didn't
at
know
least.
who the team was, but once I realized who it was, I could. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
Uagali comes out of
definitely.
that region.
So let's go to Region 3. You got Jefferson, top seed out of Tampa, the one seed. They host the Hudson Cobras out of down there in the first round. Then Chamberlain takes on Boca Ciega, the 4-5 matchup. Mulberry, the 3 seed against Coast Tech. Booker, the 2 seed versus 7 seed of Hardy County. Final matchup in Region 4. Miami Northwestern is the 1 seed out of Region 4 versus Barron Collier. Uh, Lely out of Naples taking on Miami Jackson, the 4-5 matchup. Somerset Academy, 3 seed out of Pembroke Pines, hosts Cypress Lake. And then Key West takes on Estero. Out of all those teams in Class 3A, who is your 3A state champion?
Miami Northwestern.
I can't go wrong. My dad's alumni of Miami Northwestern. I never had a problem at Northwestern. I think Miami Northwestern is their state title for them to lose. I think the only team that'll give a run is probably Reigns.
That's interesting because I know that I actually probably angered a few Reigns fans very recently when they made the proclamation that it was Reigns' class to lose. I was like, yeah, hold the phone. The Bulls are still in this class.
Oh yeah, they had a
But
down
things like
run last year,
I
but I
expect
think
that'll be like if those two play, I expect that to be a really good game. I don't
oh yeah,
know how the rest will stack up, but those two going head to head, that should be a very good game to watch.
and
Like,
it'd be a good job for Teddy Bridgewater his first year because he's the head coach down there in Miami Northwestern. He just retired from the NFL, and now he got his
yep.
team as a 1 seed in 3A football. So hopefully he can break home a state champion his first year down there in South Florida. Uh,
We might
Well,
want
hold
to
on.
look into the
What's your
Let's
historical
top 3A?
side of how many first year head coaches have won state titles at some point, if that happens.
I has there ever been a coach to win a state championship his first year at the helm recently?
I don't know. That's the thing.
Mm.
I don't know off the
At,
top of my head of any. I might have to ask around and find out on that.
Yeah, we'd have to look into
that's a
that
good
one.
poll
But
question. Ask the fans. Listen, if you're watching, any fan could look up who was the first coach or recent coach to win a state championship in Florida in his rookie season. That's a good poll question. Who was the last coach to win a state championship in Florida as a rookie? That's
so,
a nice poll
but
question.
let's talk about the real thing that needs to be talked about in Class 3A. What do I want to talk about?
Miami Central, I'm guessing.
No, South Sumter getting hosed on the playoffs, man.
Yes.
How do
Yes.
you, don't get me wrong, Central is a big topic, but how do you get South Sumter at 4-6 being excluded, but Swanee getting included at 4-6, right? Like,
That's a good debate right
just
there because a lot of people are outraged about that.
I mean, what do you think, Hunter? What's your thought process on whether or not somebody has like what's the thought process that goes behind that actually, you know? How do
I
you leave out South Sumter with all their recent success?
I think it comes down to like the regions itself. Like Region One was probably the like outside of Reigns that might be the overall like weakest bracket, especially on the back half. So it's not like to me like I think that's what it came down to is like it was easier for Swanee to make it at 4-6 in Region One than South Sumter making it at 4-6 in Region Two.
I could see that, yeah.
So let's do this. Who has Swanee beaten compared to who has South Sumter beaten? Like what is Swanee's biggest win to date for this season compared
Probably
to South
Taylor
Sumter?
County.
Taylor County, that was a big win. That was a big win. South Sumter has some close call losses too, though.
Yeah, they lost by I think it was a total of 10 points in their losses to Baker and Gabi combined. They lost by a touchdown to Wakulla. And I'm trying to think. They lost
They
to
lost a
Appleton
close one to
County.
Hawthorne. Lost a close one to
Wait,
Hawthorne.
did they play Hawthorne?
Yeah, they played Hawthorne on the home field. They lost a close one. I think it was a one
Hmm.
possession loss.
Yeah,
And
20
Swanee
20.
lost 13-0 to Columbia at Columbia.
And then did they lose the East Side too?
I don't know. I'm trying to remember who Swanee's schedule was. Can Robert, can you pull that up?
Yeah, I
Yeah, I've
remember.
got it pulled up because right now Swanee's best win, you have to look at either Taylor County or Childs, but neither of them are 3A playoff teams.
No.
Where you got South Sumter, who has a 21-7 win against Eastside, who is a 3A playoff team,
Ah,
and a close one possession loss to Dunellen, who is a 3A playoff team and got the 3 seed on that side of the bracket, right? So I mean, I really have a hard time seeing the exclusion there for um for South Sumter, you know?
I think.
I
I
think it would
think.
have held, I think it would have held more weight if they were in the same region. But
Yeah.
them being in different
Yeah.
regions, that's probably what it comes down to.
Which
What
region is
region is
South Sumter in Region One, right?
yeah.
Swanee's in one. South Sumter, I believe, is Region Two.
Yeah, but they have
But
the head-to-head
even
event on the East Side. Though I don't think why
yeah.
South Sumter should be not been in there. If you put Swanee at 4-6 and at 7, why I understand East Side had a good season, but head-to-head it should matter, right?
You would think.
But I guess
I
they go
think
off
mainly
record-wise. I guess I don't know.
I, and mainly they were third in their district. Let's take a look at Swanee. Swanee was fourth in their district. They went 0-3 in district play.
Yeah,
Oof,
lost
that's
to
just a bad
Gabi,
that's a bad
Wakulla,
exclusion.
and Baker County.
And that Big County loss is kind of bad too. Cause look at how Big County played this year. They're up and down all year too.
Yep. Mm.
But I wish they had like an invitation tournament for each conference. Like you know how they have for rural nation, they should have an invitation for all classifications. To get some kind of postseason football to look forward to every year. But your goal is to make it a state. But I would love to see how this invitation tournament happen in rural affect this year because that could be something each classification have going forward. Kind of like a constellation. You got the NCAA March Madness have the big dance. And then if you don't make the big
Yeah.
dance, you go to the NIT or the CBI. You have something postseason wise to look forward to when you don't have it a regular, if you don't make it to the big tournament. So that'd be something all classification consider doing is the invitation tournament, but you don't have to accept the invitation because a lot of schools from rural decline invitation, like Marathon declined the invitation to go to the regional tournament, the rural invitation tournament because of distance wise. Because I think Marathon was the newest team in rural. They're the most further south team in rural outside of Pahokee. Marathon, I think, is right
They're much
outside
further
of.
south because Marathon's out in the Keys.
Yeah, Marathon's past Miami. And that's a long trip to go up the north side of Florida to play a team in a rural tournament that
Yeah.
you probably not going to even win. And I think if they were going to play for the state tournament, that's probably why they declined to join the rural tournament. Which makes sense. Because you already
I
down
like the, I do like the idea of the now. Like I wasn't really for it at first, but once I started hearing about it, it kind of reminded me almost like what we used like because there used to be bowl games for Florida high
exactly.
school football
Yup.
teams So this is kind of more of an expanded bowl season almost.
Right.
Like when I look at it from that perspective, I like the. I'm starting to come around to the idea a little bit that I wouldn't mind seeing it. Let's see how it goes with rural. Maybe it's something that could be implemented for the rest of the classes going forward.
I think it's a good idea too because you got school like South Sumter who should definitely be in postseason football. Should definitely have something to play for at the end of the year, like something like this invitation tournament where you could put a South Sumter who got robbed out of the playoffs and another school, Port St. Joe, who had a great season, is not playing in the rural tournament. So those are schools that you can look and see though gives extra motivation at the end of the year, something they can play for, something they can look forward towards the offseason, and not just have a season end because you ain't been in the state tournament. And
or astronaut.
Astronaut's another team that got kind of got the nip in of the bud. Another school we'll talk about too when we get to the next class of two classifications is a Capital Trinity Cafe, and I'm kind of ticked off because them boys are 2-8, but they get to host a regional semifinal, a quarterfinal. And we'll get to them in a few minutes.
Right.
Class 2A, regional quarterfinal, region 1. Gaston County, the 1 seed. How do you feel about Gaston County getting that number 1 seed on?
I think they've earned it. When you look at who they beat in all the year, their only loss coming to a really good defending state champion in Coffee County. They played good teams. They got wins on Lincoln. They got, I think we looked at their schedule very recently, the teams they beat. They deserve that 1 spot. And I'm going to be curious to see how they do right now because, I think they did, Bulls, I believe, is in Region 2, so they probably won't have to play. They don't have to play them until maybe the Final Four. And I think the best team outside of Gaston.
Bulls in region. Bulls in region.
Oh, they are.
They're the 3
third
seed.
seed. They got to host. They host Taylor County in the first round.
Oof. Well, thanks for coming, Taylor County, because that'll be a quick night for Bulls.
Quick L, yeah.
Quick L. Long trip.
But
quick L.
But yeah, since in that case, I guess you could say that Bulls and Gadsden, that'll probably be who I would have in the regional final there.
Because the rest of the regions like this, Gadsden, the 1 seed, hosted a struggling 8-seeded Baldwin team. You got Florida High versus Marietta, the 4-5 matchup. Bowles takes on Taylor County, and then Pensacola Catholic, the 2 seed, takes on Walton, the 7 seed. In Region 2, which I call this the Region of Death, back-to-back state champion Cocoa is the 1 seed, hosting Lake Placid, the 8 seed. Calvary Christian out of Clearwater, the 4 seed, hosts Berkeley Prep. Newberry, 3rd seed, hosts 6 seed Palaca in the first round. And Bradford, the 2 seed, hosting the Villages in the first round. My question, this is a question I posted on the North Florida Central page, football page. Why is Newberry constantly getting disrespected by Bradford? Because we know Bradford lost them head-to-head. How in the world they deserve not to be ahead of Bradford in the seeding? And I'm sorry with you, Hunter, on that one. Why do you feel like Bradford deserved to be a 2 seed over Newberry?
Well, I'll answer that right now. They didn't. But
I think we all agree that they got robbed.
I think it's that's kind of and that's the problem we have with these. I have with these rankings is the lack of transparency. This is something that I have publicly called out for weeks after weeks after weeks after weeks. You have a ranking system. You don't have any transparency. You don't have any way to double check the results. You don't have any way to know what goes in the formula. What was the reasoning to go to this? The RPI could have worked if you had simply taken what was there and adjusted the numbers until you found the right balance. But now we switched to a formula and this is the same region the Astronauts in. This is something I know Astronauts a bit outside of our area, but this definitely caught my attention. You had Astronaut ahead of the Villages heading into the final week. They were ahead of them going into the week, right? They beat the Villages head-to-head the final week of the season, and somehow the Villages, coming off a loss head-to-head Astronaut, jump ahead of them and take the 7th spot and boot Astronaut out of the playoffs. Now, granted, when I look at that 2 spot against Bradford, I don't think either one of them wins that game, but when you look at I don't understand the justification how any ranking system could say when you are ahead of a team and you beat them head to head the final week, and somehow the team that loses to you somehow jumps ahead of you.
Yeah, that's very tough pill to swallow. And then we talked about a few weeks ago that Newberry and Bradford could meet in the second or third round. Whereas the way it sets up, they will meet in the next round, either in start, most likely. So Newberry and Bradford both win their opening
Yeah.
rounds. They will have to go to start to for a potential spot in the regional final. So that
And I
is
think
gonna be
Newberry's going to come in feeling disrespected and take
oh
it.
yeah. Oh yeah, Stark for the top of the world, still in that 2 seed for Newberry. I know our Stark fans have said they deserve the 2 seed over who they play, but when you lose head to head to a team that's right there in your same region, it's kind of hard for you not to say you deserve it. So that'd be a good matchup to watch out for in the second round between Newberry and Bradford. But the winner of that game got a tough pill
You got to go to
to
Coco.
they got to go through Coco. And last year, the Tornadoes had a good chance last year, but unfortunately, Coco's defense was too dominant. So Bradford looking for redemption against Coco, but Newberry is looking to make a statement against Bradford in the second round. But they can't overlook Palaca. Can overlook Palaca. They got to get the job done first at home, so they'll start. So I think they'll both win pretty easily. But I think Palaca will give Newberry a little more run for their money. But we'll see how that goes in the first round of Region 2. Region 3, we Hunter saw this team in person last Thursday. It's the not this Cardinal Newman, Cardinal Mooney. Need to see them. Cardinal Mooney is the 1 seed out of Sarasota. Region 3 against Somerset Academy. Region 4 seed is Calvary Christian versus Kings Academy. Glade Central versus Lakewood, and Bishop Vera versus Tarpon Springs. Final region in Class 2A. Booker T. Washington, the 1 seed against North Miami Beach, who got killed by Columbia a couple weeks ago. Then that's going to be like a scrimmage for the Hornets and down there in Miami. Cardinal Gibbons, the 4 seed versus the 5 seed in Carroll City out of Miami. Uh, Monsieur Pace, the 3 seed versus the 6 seed in Everglades School. Who's your Class 2A state champion going into this weekend?
Which one
You
wants to
want to
go
go first,
first?
Hunter?
I would
Well,
Robert.
I'll go.
Robert, you go
I'll go
first.
first because I think this is the Newberry Disrespect Tour, and
Ooh,
Newberry is gonna come out and just act like, because while everybody says like about all these axioms, line play is going to deliver you to the promised land in the playoffs, right? The best offensive and defensive lines are going to win championships, and the defensive line in Newberry is a championship contender D line. So I got Newberry.
all right. So your 2A winner is Newberry.
hmm
Uh, who's
In my
your
final,
2A winner, Hunter?
I think Robert is on the right track. You got the right region, just not the right team.
You
It's
got
going to be
you're
Coco.
Coco.
going Coco.
Three
Yeah,
straight for Coco for the Tigers.
Yeah. When I look at I don't, because the biggest thing is, for one, I could tell you right now that Bradford, if they got by Newberry, they would not match up very well with Coco. I just don't know if Newberry can go down there and beat Coco in their house. If this was a
that's
neutral site game,
gonna be tough.
maybe they have a shot there. I just don't think they can win on the road against them. But when I will say that looking at the rest of the regions, it's kind of like it's not as wide open. Like that may be the most competitive region, because when I look at Region 3, Cardinal Mooney should win that one relatively easily. Booker T should win Region 4 relatively easy. I guess probably Bowles and Floor High winner faces Gadsden in Region 1. When you look at Region 2 between Bradford, Newberry, and Coco, that's probably the most competitive region in that class, but you probably have the best team in that class with Coco. It's like if you look at Coco's roster, you look at what they've played, I just don't know if any team is close enough to cover the gap.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Robert,
yeah, and see, I had. Oh, go ahead.
who's your 3A state champion winner? You said.
Oh man, let me go back here. Um, Honestly, I
Yeah.
think that's going to be Northwestern.
Yeah. All
Right, I
three of
got a
us chose
final.
Northwestern.
I got a Final Four of Rains, Booker, Northwestern, Ugali, right? With Northwestern taking it, and in 2A I've got Newberry, FSU High School, Cardinal Mooney, and I got Monsignor Pace on the upset of Booker T. Washington in the regional final.
You
All
think
right,
Florida
so
High can beat Bowles and Gadsden back to back?
that's
I
tough.
think they're gonna. I think they're gonna do it. Like, don't get me wrong, right? Like the Bowles and uh, well, see, sorry. So Reigns is in there. Oh, hold on. I'm on my wrong
Raising
spot.
3A.
Okay, sorry. Hold on. Yeah, I'm in my wrong spot. I've got to go back to my other notes here. So I think they're gonna upset Gadsden. Yep, and I think they're gonna upset Bowles in the next round. And they just impressed me a lot with what they did against Hawthorne, right? Because Hawthorne is a very, very good team, and they just kept extending, right? Hawthorne was throwing counter punches, and FSU High School just kept hitting them right back in the mouth.
So you got Newberry winning the state championship game. You got Coco winning 100. I got Booker T winning this one. I got Booker T in the dynasty of the Coco Tigers down there in Miami. I think Booker T has a lot to prove because we all know Booker T years past has been a state champion every year for a long time. But they've been a little through a
Hmm.
drought spell after Treon Harris graduated with UF and all that stuff. I think they haven't seen a
Yeah.
state champion since Treon Harris graduated. So I think this is the year Booker T could end the Coco dynasty. It's gonna be a close one, but I think Booker T is in Coco's way of a three-peat. So I'm going Booker T 20-17 in the state championship game between them and Coco.
Also, but I can definitely see Booker T having a shot there. I don't know how they'll stack up with Coco, but I would like to see that game. But I will say at least the Final Four in this class, I feel better about it than I do with 3A's potential Final Four because I feel like all four of those teams are not that far apart from each other. But I was
Yeah,
also gonna before we move on to 1A, Robert, you got like are you marking down like all the our picks for these classes, right?
I am doing
I'm
mine right
trying to keep
now.
up. Yeah, I'm trying to keep up with as much as I can here because I know he's got his on paper. I've got mine on paper. I'm trying to keep up with yours on paper. So let's make sure because you got Coco for Hunter.
So
And
3A.
you had but for 3A we were all the same, so I got that one right there.
Yeah.
Although who do you want to tell me your final four in 2A again if you remember that off the top of your head? You had Gadsden, right? You had
Gadsden,
Coco's, you had
Coco, Mooney, and Booker T.
All right. So
okay. Yeah.
who was your final 400 for 3A?
3A. Let's see. Reigns, Uagali. Uh, who was in
Northwestern
Regis
and
Regan? Yeah, Northwestern and in 4, but I forgot who was in 3. In 3A3.
I think you had Booker, or did you
Yeah,
Yeah,
have because I thought
yeah,
I thought our final four was the same.
yeah.
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 So I didn't give you so uh Robert, what's your final four for 3A again?
Ours are both the same. We got
Okay.
Rains, Booker, Ugali, and Northwestern.
All right, so here's mine. I forgot to get mine. I'm so little behind. Reigns, uh, Danellen, uh, Booker, and Northwestern. That's my four.
So we were
Gotcha.
almost
Yeah,
almost unanimous on 3A.
I'm just a big
which
fan.
means which means we're probably going to be the most wrong,
I feel
That's
like
how it sometimes
Danella
works out, ain't it?
right?
Danella done such a great job this year, and that
Hmm.
win against Florida High, I feel like I knew Danella have a great year, and despite losing the start middle of the year, they have really turned it on. They've been kind of vanguard. My favorite two teams to watch. That's not my personal high schools. But those two teams have been very
Yeah.
hot this year, and they kept a consistent pace. So, uh, let's go to we got our region, we got our 318, we got our 218s. Let's go to the God crazy class 1A region. It's our region one. Providence traveling to Ocala Trinity Catholic, the 1-8 matchup. How the world you're 2-8 and you're hosting the 1 seed in the first round of a high school football playoff? Wow.
Two-team district champion. That's how.
Yep.
Jeez. Then you
Just
got
talk
4 seed. Uh,
how the seeding and how the district championships and stuff, man.
it's crazy, man.
I don't even know.
You got University Christian versus Impact Christian. Tallahassee McLean, the 3rd seed versus St. Actually, they will travel to St. John Paul II, who's a 6th seed in their region. Trinity Christian out of Jacksonville will host PK Young. So PK Young will go to Jacksonville to take on the Christians of Trinity Christian High School. Region 2, you have Clearwater Central Catholic, who's the defending state champions, I believe, correct? Nope, the Chaminade Madonna. Sorry, Chaminade Madonna. Chaminade.
Yeah.
They lost to Chaminade Madonna last year. So runner-up last year, Clearwater Central Catholic, the 1 seed of Region 2. They host Holy Trinity, followed by Carrollwood Day, the 4 seed versus Whitney Christian. Melbourne Central Catholic will host Orlando Christian Prep, and Lakeland Christian will travel to 7th-seeded Crescent City in round 1 of Region 2. Region 3, 1 seed is Cardinal Newman, who Hunter watched 2 weeks ago against a very tough Buchholz team. They will host Evangelistical Christian. Then the community school Naples of 4 seed will host Newman. Benjamin out of Miami will actually travel to Northside Christian out of St. Petersburg. And First Baptist of Naples will travel to Southwest Florida Christian Academy. Region 4, the defending state champions, Chaminade Madonna, will host St. John Paul II Academy, followed by the 4 seed St. Andrew out of Boca Raton will host Archbishop Carroll. Miami Edison, the 3rd seed, will host Somerset Academy, and True Miami Classical, the 2 seed, will host Palmer Trinity. I will start with you, Hunter. Who is your 2A, your 1A state champion?
Chaminade Madonna.
Chaminade Madonna. All right. That's actually what I'm going to with this one as well. There's no way in the world these guys will not go 2 straight.
See, I'm liking Final Four of Trinity Christian, Cardinal Newman, Melbourne Central Catholic, and Chaminade Madonna. And I actually like Trinity Christian to pull the upset in the final.
Wow, so you got Trinity Christian out of Jacksonville winning the state champion.
Yes, sir.
I have a close Final Four with that. The only one I would have different is I would have Clearwater Central Catholic in place of Melbourne Central Catholic in Region 2.
Okay.
I did see Trinity this year. I don't think they are strong enough offensively to keep up with Chaminade. I think they are slowly working their way back. That's actually why I think Trinity comes out of that region and makes it to the Final Four. But I would say Cardinal Newman and Clearwater Central Catholic, both of them, they have a shot to make it a game with Chaminade. I just don't think they're going to have enough to beat them.
Here's my Final Four. Now, don't look at me crazy. I got to upset the first round of Region 1. Ocala Trinity Catholic knocks off Providence in the first round. Now, last year, when Ocala Trinity Catholic made that deep playoff run, they started off home, and they had a horrible record. It was 3-7. They made the Arlington State Championship. They're not going to do it again this year, but they will get pretty solid. They will end up losing to Trinity Christian in the regional championship. I do have to upset University Christian. I do have to upset Providence, but they will lose by 2 touchdowns to Trinity Christian in the regional final. So my 4 will be Trinity Christian, Melbourne Central Catholic, I agree with Hunter, Cardinal Newman, and Chaminade Madonna, with Chaminade Madonna winning the state title pretty convincingly over Cardinal Newman by Final 2.
Honestly, I don't think that Trinity Catholic upset would be that far-fetched, to be honest. I actually could see the same. I'm actually leaning the same way myself on that one.
Because Trinity Catholic played their best football in the postseason. They could be trash all the way the rest season, but they found Space Jam juice in the postseason. Don't forget, when they lost to First Baptist 2 seasons ago, they was 3-7 and won 4 straight games to get to the state championship and just lose by a touchdown. So Coach Brett, you know what he's doing out there. Now his son is taking over as a head coach, the former Florida Gator quarterback. We'll see how they do the first game against Providence Friday in Ocala. Now,
But you did say that you agreed on, like you said, Melbourne Central Catholic and Region 2, but I think that was actually Robert's pick. I had Clearwater Central
Yeah.
Catholic.
oh, okay, okay, okay,
Too
okay,
many
okay.
too many Central Catholics all in the same bracket.
Yeah, I know.
I'm trying to
Like you said, it's all the God
tell you,
schools.
man. Good.
All right, but now we're getting into my favorite. Now we're getting
Hey,
into
I'm
my
at
favorite.
time our favorite regional. We can talk about this all night. We can't.
Yes, sir.
We can't. Rule football. But first, we're gonna do the rule invitational tournament first, and then get to the meat and gritty of
Ooh,
this rule bracket.
I left that one on the printer. I'll be right back. Hold on,
Hunter,
hold on.
what are your thoughts of the rule Florida invitational tournament for the? What are your thoughts of going into that?
Like I was saying earlier, when I started looking at it as a almost a extended bowl season, I kind of started to come around a little bit on it. But that is obviously pending on seeing the results of it and how competitive these games end up being. Like if it ends up being where one team just slaughters everyone all the way through, then it probably won't be worth it in my eyes. But if we get some competitive games across this invitational tournament, then I could probably come around to it a lot more.
Right.
It's
So,
come down to how competitive this ends up being.
well, let's go and look at it right now. We got our 16 teams. Our top 4 seeds of the tournament are the Baker Gators at 1, 2 seed the Port St. Joe Sharks, 3 the Franklin County Seahawks, and 4 the Jefferson County Tigers are the top 4 seeds of the Rural Florida Invitational Tournament. Now, the first round matchups, 8-9 match between Trenton and Sneeds. The Pirates and Sneeds will travel to take on the Trenton Tigers in 8-9 matchup. Dixon County, the 5 seed, will host Weaver Hitchcock. The Gators will travel to Dixon County to take on the Bears. Wildwood will host 10th seeded Hamilton County in that first round matchup. And Fort Meade will host Tanner Pearson. So, who you got with me, Trenton and Sneeds in the first round? Start with you, Robert.
I'll tell you right, uh, with how this looks on paper is really it looks like it's supposed to be a Sneeds win on paper, right? Like if you said, okay, here, let's go take a look at some of these rankings, let's go take a look at some of the strength of schedule and everything. But I got Trenton winning this one. I think it's the home field advantage right there. I also think that whoever ends up winning is going to get waxed by Baker in the next game. But hey, that is what it is.
I'm going with Tigers in this one, 20-14 over Sneeds. Long trip for the Pirates, but long way back home with an L. Hunter?
I guess I'm going to have to break the ground a little bit and go with Sneeds here.
So you want the
I just like,
Pirates with the upset victory?
is it considered an upset right now? Like,
I mean,
I mean, with an 8-9, like if you go by the Max Preps preview where they show like the team scoring averages per quarter, well then they're projecting like 23-15 on Trenton's side, but at the same time it's not like, oh my gosh, here's a team that's looking like they're going to run away with it on in any way, shape, or form. So I mean it's tough. It's a tough call. Like I'm gonna go local and stay local with Trenton though.
yeah, I think it's like a one possession game. I think it's gonna come down to which team wants it more. I think Trent been through a lot this season with the it's been a rough year for the Tigers, but to win a big one last Friday against Tenor Rock down there in Lakeland was a huge boost of confidence going into this tournament. Hopefully they can go back home, get recharged, get ready for a
Well, hold
tough
on.
season.
Remember, they had the Monday night game against Chiefland where Chiefland beat them by over 30.
Oh,
So
so
they
they
had to
played
they
Tenor
had
Rock
to do that
last.
turnaround. Yeah, they
Oh,
had to do
yeah.
that turnaround. You're completely right. Last Friday they had that game, but then they also had the Monday night game against
That's
Chiefland. So
right. So we gotta find out which Trent team we're gonna show up. Is it the team that played against Trent, team that played against Chiefland, or the team that bullied Tenor Rock down in Polk County last week? So we'll see. But
Just out of curiosity, what is Tenor Rock's? What is their record on the year?
Tenor Rock, I don't know. I'm with the
Here, I
phone.
got you right now.
I think
They're
Tenor Rock is
five
like
and
middle of the
four,
pack. I think
and they were second in 2A District 7.
that's a solid win for them. Probably the only good win of the year for them. Because who was Trent's only other win? Because they're like 2 or 3 wins coming to the because they beat Hamilton County head to head. They beat Tenor Rock. Who's the only other win this year?
Harvest Community, whatever that
Out of
is.
Jacksonville private school. So they're 3 and
Yes.
7 entering this tournament as an 8 seed, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how that goes out there against Trent. But I'm going with the Hometown Tigers 20-14 over the Sneeze Pirates. The winner of that game will take on the Baker Gators, and we all agree Baker's gonna smash whoever they play regardless. So we'll go advance Baker to the semifinal, which they'll with the winner of Dixie versus Weaver Hitchcock. Who you got between the Gators and the Bears? I'm gonna start with you, Hunter.
Say it again.
The 5-12 matchup. We were Hitchcock Gators versus the Dixie County Bears.
I'll go with Dixie there. I guess I got to at least pick some local teams, and I guess like they played a tough for a rural team. They play a tough schedule for the area, so I think they pull this one out.
I'm going Bears this one, 28-7.
Yeah, and on top of that, I'm pretty sure we lost to Branford, and Branford lost to Dixie already, if I was remembering right, or am I remembering that
Yeah,
incorrectly?
Branford did smash with Hitchcock already. I think they recently did it too.
Yeah. Oh, and sorry, it was Branford and Bell as common opponents and everything in terms of like trying to determine something there. So I was thinking Branford to Bell, and I think Dixie had beaten Bell pretty good, and I was just thinking, yeah, that's probably not a good sign for Wheeler.
Yeah, I think Dixie County gonna advance, take with Jefferson County. I hate this. That might be a toss-up game down there in Monticello. If Dixie to take this momentum, they do beat, or we will go to Jefferson County and play a good show. I can see the Bears upset the Tigers at their home field.
I could see that happening too, especially because you got some of those, the Branford and Bell comparison again with some of the folks that have been played.
What do you think, Hunter?
I think that one would be more competitive than Baker against the Trent versus Sneed's winner, obviously, but
yep, a lot more competitive there. That 4-5 matchup is going to be pretty good. Oh, excuse me.
I could possibly see Dixie even get to the semis against Baker.
Yep.
But I think the Cinderella run ends with the Gators, the real Baker Gators, showing up and smashing Dixie to go to the finals of that tournament. Port St. Joe's been dealing with a lot of tragedy this year. They lost a player this year due to a sudden death. They've been dealing with a lot this year. The Sharks coming as a 2 seed. They will host the winner of the 7-seeded Wildwood Wildcats versus the Hamilton County Trojans. Wildwood being the home team. I'm going Wildwood winning 35-21 over Hamilton County.
I like Wildwood there too. They've played a brutal schedule, and I think that will end up making a huge difference for them. I think they'll be more ready for Hamilton.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Wildwood as well because a couple of the teams Hamilton has played that they've got losses to or a little bit I mean they lost by almost 30 points to Branford. They lost to Trenton. They lost to Dixie. You know, I mean here's a bunch of teams in the same tournament bracket that they've all lost to. So I think they're going to just continue the L.
So we got Wildwood advancing on Port St. Joe. Do you think the Wildcats, with harsh in their face, go up there and take on a tough Sharks team of Port St. Joe? Can they pull up the upset up there in the Panhandle?
They can. I just don't know if they will.
That's a long commute for Wildwood to go from Central Florida to nearly doggone near Pensacola. That's a long hike.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think I
Port
think
St.
Fort
Joe.
St.
That's
Joe is.
Apalachicola, isn't it?
Yes, I believe that's correct. Yes. And the fact that Wildwood has to go way up there different times, it's hard for a team even from the bottom to go up, but for the up to go down, it's hard. It's hard to play that type of time zone. Like for example, you kind of had to go way to Northview a couple years ago to play the regional state semis, and that's a 5.5 hour drive. So Wildwood, which is on the opposite side of Leesburg, they got to go way up there. That's about an 8-9 hour drive, I believe.
Yeah, we're talking. It's gonna some of the playoff matchups and the travel times for rural are just nuts this year.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be something that has to be addressed.
Oh yeah, they gotta find some kind of mutual sign or common ground here because if Wildwood pulls this game off, it has to go way to Apalachicola. That is crazy for a playoff
Mm,
game. And they're not playing for a state title; they're just playing for like a consolation tournament. But I
that's
think
exactly right.
but some of the kids might be all for it because they'd be good to play for a state championship, but they're good to play for the next best thing. So I think Wildwood kids, if I was a coach, would be fired up to be an opportunity to play in postseason football because some schools going into regular season ain't good enough to play postseason ball for a state championship, but you have an opportunity to play for something special, not as equivalent to the state championship, but to play for something you could say we did together, that we earned. Then why not? I mean, it might be cost time wise, but I mean, opportunity presented itself to play extra football, extra reps for the young guys, extra reps for those seniors who's leaving. They got something else to play for. It's not just have to wait to camps or graduation or 707 spring ball. You know what I'm saying? So for some seniors, this is it. So I think it's a good
I
idea for them to have this tournament.
I will say I don't think that most players. I don't think they care about the long drive. It's probably more like the administrators that have to go find the funds for a bus and a hotel that hate these drives.
Right. Because a lot of these schools will have the funds to be so. Like a lot of schools have to get sponsors to go 5+ hours to go to such a Port St. Joe or a Baker or Franklin County. Those are some drives for some schools. For example, Trent got to go to Baker. They beat Sneeze in the first round. That's a long drive. Wildwood probably got to go to Port St. Joe. That's a long drive. Dixie, the Monticello's not a bad drive. Cross City, the Monticello's not too bad of a drive compared to what Trenton and Wildwood have to endure in the next round matchup. So I do
Because
have
we was a little bit of a hike for Dixie, but or excuse me, Dixie's a little bit of a hike for Weewa, but it's only what, about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
yeah. And I think from Jefferson County to Dixie, that's about a little to 2 hours.
hmm
Yeah,
So
about 2 hours from
those are all
Tallahassee.
pretty reasonable. Those all seem pretty reasonable. It's some of the other stuff on the other side of this bracket that just kind of get completely unreasonable.
Yeah, that Wildwood Port St. Joe trip will be one for the ages. That's I think Wildwood's on the opposite side of Leesburg, and Leesburg from Gainesville is a little over an hour some change. But you gotta go to Port St. Joe, which is on the opposite side of Apalachicola. You're talking about seven
hmm
plus hours from Gainesville.
hmm
So you're
Imagine
looking
if
at
Marathon was in this bracket and they had to go to play Baker or vice versa. You're talking like 10 or 11 hours.
Yeah.
and that's
Well,
why
I'll tell
Marathon
you.
opted out.
Well, and I'll tell you, this Fort Meade Taylor matchup doesn't look great, does it? It's like one of those
I see a
teams.
real low score game. Real low
You know,
scoring.
one of those teams is going to have to win, and it'll probably end up being Fort Meade since it's a home game. But uh, whoever it's going to be is still going to get beat by Taylor, who I think is going to get beat by Port St. Joe. So then you just have to figure out because like I I think Baker's going to beat Dixie, and that top one because I think Dixie's going to beat Jefferson County, and Baker's the only team in this whole invitational that's really got a winning record that uh, can do something about it, right? So, I mean, you just got to think, does Wildwood have enough firepower for Port St. Joe with how hard of a schedule they played?
Right.
Who is
And
I
I
who
also
is
don't
Baker's
think they're going to
losses to?
travel that. Here, I'll
Baker.
pull
I know Franklin County's like 6-4. I know Port St. Joe's about 6 wins themselves. But after Port St. Joe and Franklin County, I don't think Jefferson County got a winning record. I think they got a 500 record at best.
And the losses for Baker are 41-0 against Jay, 21-20 against Zion Chapel, and 36-26 against Freeport.
Okay.
Solid.
So even then, some of those losses aren't great.
I mean, Jay's a 5 seed in the rural state tournament, so Jay has been probably the best panel team of the year. Jay's been consistent all year. Could they be the 4 seed? Possibly they were undefeated, but that loss late in the season kind of hurt the chance of being a 4 seed and avoiding that Hawthorne side of the bracket. But now that you are the 5th seed, you're gonna have to endure that Hawthorne side of the bracket. If you do win out and you have to win against Fort White, you still got to take on a very deep part of the hardest second round team matchup of the whole rural tournament. The winner of the Chief of the Williston game is going to eventually give Jay all they can handle. If
Yep.
for Williston, you're going to have to travel all the way to the Panhandle and take on the J team. Where compared to the Chief, they can stay home and take on Jay. Jay got to make that long trip. So this is a big game for both schools.
I honestly think Fort White's going to upset them in the first round.
You want Fort White to avoid that trip.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to speak that into existence. You're not lying, but I think Fort White has played a pretty tough schedule. They've seen teams as good as Jay. I mean, because really, like, what's the best win for Jay? Like, you look at that schedule and you look at their loss to that school in Alabama, but who did they beat? You're talking like Wewa and Baker,
And that ain't saying much. And we was in the consolation as a 12 seed.
right? I mean, they
So
got
we're on.
Chipley. Chipley looks like their best win at 23-13, but that's the 11 seed.
And they had to go to South Florida to take on Pahokee. That's a long trip. That's a
Okay,
trip.
what
You
team
talk
are we
about
talking
like
about right now?
7+ hours. We're actually about
Sorry, we're talking Jay Fort White. Sorry, yeah, we kind of jumped to the rural bracket all of a sudden because
so
we're
who
or the regular rural championship bracket.
so who is your champion of the first ever Florida Invitational Rural Tournament? I'm
Baker.
going with Baker.
Yeah, I think the winner of Baker Dixie County is going to be who wins it.
Yeah, I'll take Baker too.
So
Yeah.
everybody going Baker. All right, now let's get to the nitty gritty of the 2024 Rural Classification Tournament. Now listen, this is different from everybody else because we automatically start the regional semi. So we're right ahead of everybody else already because we're 16
Mhm.
teams in. So Hawthorne versus 16 seed Brantford. Who you got in that matchup? What's the point
Haw-
scale? What's the point scale?
Hawthorne with a running clock. Let's
I
put it
agree.
that way.
I say Hawthorne 47-6.
Sounds pretty solid there.
Hunter?
I'll say it. I think that Brantford was secretly hoping that they were going to fall just low enough to get the invitational bracket. They did not want Hawthorne. Hawthorne easily wins here. I'm thinking 42 plus.
Yeah. This is an interesting matchup. The Cottondale crew hosting the 9th seed of Lafayette Hornets. Who you got between the Battle of the Hornets between Cottondale and Lafayette?
Which one?
The 8-9 matchup. Cottondale versus Lafayette.
No, I mean, are you asking me or Robert
Oh,
first?
Hunter, you go first this time because Robert was
Oh,
first last time.
I'd say I like Lafayette there.
Got Lafayette the upset?
Yeah, they played when you look at some of their losses, they've lost to they obviously they had a close loss to Swanee early on. I know I think it was like who else was it? Like, I think they played Fort White pretty tight early on, like probably about mid-season. I just think Lafayette's probably played better competition than Cottondale has so far.
Robert?
I agree with that. I agree with that because Lafayette's definitely played a much tougher schedule than Cottondale has.
So we all agree the fans going to be the next punching bag victor for Hawthorne in the
Yeah, I got
regional championship.
Hawthorne winning the regional final there against Lafayette, and I still think they win by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah,
Well,
easy.
technically, it's not really a regional final. It's just top 16, so it's more just like there's all one region.
Yeah, so it
Yeah,
really just
they call it like the regional finals still, but it's like, yeah, I agree, it's not like a regional final.
so technically this is the second round or the quarters what they call it. So I think next round will be the quarter. Next round will be the quarter. I think this is the first round. The quarters will
Yeah,
be the
so
second
first
round.
round, quarter, semi, championship. I like it. All right, we're gonna relabel this.
Yeah, we're doing this the first round. So Robert, I'm not gonna let you start first because we are dived into Chief and Williston. I want you to give me your keys to how would y'all knock off Chiefland out of the tournament? What are y'all keys for y'all to get the job done on the road this time around against the Indians?
As long as we don't fumble the ball, we can win it. And honestly, if we win against Chiefland, I think we match up well against Hawthorne this time around too. Like it I think the winner of Chiefland and Williston is going to face off against Madison for the title.
Ooh, Hunter.
I don't know if I would go that far, but I will say that I agree with the assessment on the Williston Chiefland game, and I guess because like we're kind of getting a little bit of a theme with some of these teams right now, especially like and we'll probably hit on this when we get to some of the games. I know he's one of them that I'm going to use the same logic for when we get to Thursday, but I liking the fact that I don't think that I think it's hard to be a team twice, and I think that's going to come into play here. So I think Williston gets the playoff win in the rematch.
I agree. Like I said 30 minutes ago, it's hard to say it to you twice. And Williston has more to prove than Chiefland because Williston has been battle tested all year. A lot of people doubted Williston at one point in the year, but Coach Poole is a legendary coach for a reason. And now they're healthy. The healthiest part of the year. Got the quarterback back to right before the Hardy game. Looked real good. I got Williston knocking off Chiefland 21-13 to advance to the second round. I'm going Red Devils. Just because Chiefland beat us 2 weeks ago. So I don't like Chiefland. I don't like Chiefland. Go Red Devils for this one. Um, Jay hosting Fort White in the first round matchup. I'm going Jay because Fort White's too big, still baked up. Fort White's been baked up all year. And I don't think they're not ready for postseason football this year. I think they should have been on playing the invitation tournament just because I don't think they're ready for a state championship ready. Not this year. I'm going Jay for the win.
I think you hit the you actually is almost like I'm thinking. I don't know if you psychically stole my notes, but that was where I was going with this actually. When you look at the Fort White game with Fleming Island, very like 2 weeks ago, the main reason that game was so lopsided was because of how banged up Fort White was at that point. I don't think they're going to be any better right now. They're going to have to make a long drive out to the Panhandle. They are not at full strength, and they haven't been at full strength all year. I think a healthy Fort White would have had a shot at winning this game. The Fort White that's playing right now doesn't. I think Jay all day here.
Yeah, Jay's probably win by at least 3 touchdowns.
Now, see, I also think Fort White had a couple weeks to get healthy though, right? Because that Fleming Island game was on the first. And so, I mean, you're talking about having a good 2 week time to get healthy. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think Jay had anybody this past week, did they? Here, let's double check.
I
Yeah,
don't
so
think they did.
they've been getting healthy since the first as well, so it's not like that's a huge advantage, but I think the quality of the opponents that Fort White has had to play, as long as a couple of those injuries weren't season-ending injuries, then I think Fort White's gonna get healthy and upset Jay.
So you got the Indians pull off the Hercules Edward knocking off Jay in the first round.
I think so. I think so because I mean, Jay hasn't really played anybody. I mean,
Well, none of
when you
them
take
see
a
they
look
play
at their,
nobody besides Shipley.
I mean, yeah, that was Chipley, and Chipley doesn't look. Chipley's not making it out of Pahokee. You know, Baker is their next toughest opponent.
I
Yeah.
agree with the general sense of what you're saying with Fort White. I just saying like as someone that like right here in Columbia County, I just know they're not healthy. Like that's like I said, if they were healthy, I have no doubt they could beat Jay. But I just like they had quite a few players that are still going to be out that have been out for the
Got,
entire second half of the year.
gotcha. So there's no chance for some of them guys to get healthy or get right, huh?
Not enough to make a difference, unfortunately. Like I would
All
like
right.
to see before I go out there and win. I just don't think they're gonna. It's not gonna. They're not gonna have enough players back.
Well, let's advance to the second round of the top half of the Royal Tournament. Hawthorne versus Lafayette.
Hmm.
I'm saying Hawthorne by 17. They advance to the
I,
semifinals.
I like Hawthorne there too.
Hawthorne over Lafayette. Yep,
All right. For you, Robert, Williston versus Fort White.
I got Williston.
And for me, Hunter, Williston all day over Jay. But their
I'll take
season do
Wilson there
it.
too.
But Williston season do ends at Hawthorne, though, unfortunately. I think y'all season will end after his Hawthorne. Because of Billy, y'all can't throw the football consistently. If y'all can find a way to make plays vertically down the field against the Hawthorne defense, then I gave y'all a chance. But the fact that y'all is Coach Pruitt's old school run heavy. Old school run heavy. And I think with the lack of ability of being vertical down the field, you got to be able to keep Hawthorne defense off balance. And if you run the football 50 to 60 times a game, there's no way in the world you're not going to be Hawthorne because you got to be the testing secondary. So Williston gets to the semis, but the season ends at Hawthorne due to a lack of passing game. I got Hawthorne winning by 10 over Williston.
See, and I got it 21-14 the other way on the backs of Williston's improved defense. They have played so many spread teams this year that I think they have finally gotten the experience in the secondary that the whole back seven looks like a completely different unit than the one that started the season out against Chiefland. I think the defensive line will pin their ears back, and I think you'll see a defensive-led effort actually take down Hawthorne this year, and it's going to be like a 21-14 type of game.
Yeah, I say I might go. I'm actually going to do a little different. I'm going to do 27-17
Okay.
Hawthorne over Williston. Hawthorne will wait the winner in the villages. Let's go down to the bottom half of the bracket. Union County versus Holmes County. I'm not making a prediction. I just know we can play clean football, play stifle D we played all year. Not look back at the Chieftain loss, but look forward to what we got left to play for. We have home field all the way till we play in the semis, which is against Madison County. I think we'll get there pretty easily. That's just the goal: to play clean football, stay healthy, and get back to Boot Hill first time for the job. So that's my goal for us against Holmes County for our first round matchup.
I would say I'll take Union there against Holmes County also. I'll go with that one.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be at least a 17-point victory for Union.
Pahokee versus Chipley, 6-11 matchup. Chipley making the cross-state drive to South Florida, and due to that, I'm going red. I'm going Blue Devils for this one because Chipley has not faced a team from South Florida all year, and that kind of speed you're gonna deal with down there on Friday is something you won't see up there in the Panhandle. So I'm going Pahokee 35-14 over Chipley, sending back home losers up in the playoffs.
I think there's another aspect of this that I also wanted to hit on. Pahokee, from my understanding, they haven't played since the Muck Bowl. They have been sitting pissed off for the last 2 weeks, waiting to because they lost that game in overtime. That's their big rival. Chipley has to go across the state to play a pissed off Pokey team on their turf. I got Pokey all day here.
Yeah, I'm going Pahokee. I think I'm looking at something like 33-20.
That's a good one. Osceola Christian, the only other unbeaten team in rural football, correct? I think it's undefeated, correct?
Yes, Osceola Christian is undefeated.
I think they're 10-0. They're the 7th seed. They host the Bluntstown Tigers in their first round matchup. I got Osceola Christian winning 23-20 in a close one, knocking off Bluntstown.
Oof.
Now,
I'm gonna
see,
go
I
ahead.
actually got. Oh, go ahead.
You go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I'm actually going and giving Osceola Christian their first loss in Bluntstown, pulling out a close one. Where I'm thinking like 28-24 sort of game.
Okay, Hunter?
I'm going the same on there. I question Osceola's strength of schedule, even with that 10-0 record. Bluntstown, I don't know if they've played great teams, but I think they play better teams than Osceola has. And Osceola, they barely got to the 10-0. They struggled to pull out that last win. I think that Bluntstown gives them a little bit of a shock here, just because I think Osceola, they need to, I think in the future they need to test themselves a little bit more, because it's better to have a loss or two so you're ready for playoff football. In this case, I think Bluntstown is more battle tested. They are more used to playoff atmosphere in 1R. I think that makes a difference here. I think a close win for Bluntstown.
And in the last matchup of the first round, Bad Cove versus Moorhaven. This is going to run a clock. They're probably going to at least about 40 to 50 points.
Yeah, I was gonna say Moorhaven will have a moral victory, keeping it under a 50-point win.
Oh, yeah. So now we're going to the second round of the bottom half. You got Union County
Also, that's a
versus
long
Pahokee.
drive, too.
Yeah, Moorhaven is like over there on the opposite side of Hardy County, right?
Yeah, I
Like
think so.
Moorhaven is over there by Lake Okeechobee.
Okay.
And
That's a
yeah,
long
I'll
ride.
take Madison for the sweep here for us.
Yeah. So you got Madison versus Bluntstown for y'all two. I got Madison and Osceola Christian and Pahokee versus Union County. I got the Tigers winning a closer one against Pahokee though. I got them winning about 15, 35, 20 over the Blue Devils advancing the semis.
You said a close one. It's 35-20.
Yeah, I think two possessions. I think a 2 possession win
Yeah,
is
that's
respectable for Pahokee.
yeah.
Who was the
I
higher
agree
seed
with
out of
both.
those two?
Union County the 3 seed, Pahokee the 6 seed.
Okay, so Pahokee
So
would
it'd
have to
be
travel to
in.
Union.
Yes.
Yep, it'll be in Lake Butler.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
I
Union
think that would
County
make the difference. So I'll say Union hosting that.
I got a little closer, but I'm still going Union. I'm thinking like 28-21, maybe 35-28 sort of game.
okay. Uh, we all agree that Madison gonna advance to the semis, right? No matter who they play between Osceola Christian and Bluntstown, correct?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, Madison
Honestly, it could
over
be a running.
Bluntstown.
It
So
could be a running
here's
clock for that one too.
so here's where we kind of butt heads because this is the same matchup from last year's state semi between Madison and Union County. And for those who don't remember the game, Madison was down 10-0 for the duration of the game, and then a lot of fans called bad play calling by Coach Thomas being conservative, but Madison came back and won the game to advance in the state championship game. That was the closest we've gotten in a long time winning in Boot Hill. Was last year's state semifinal team. What the difference is this year? Learning from our mistakes. Keep your feet on the gas against Madison County. They're a physical team, coached well. That environment in Madison is very hard to win in by any means. If Hawthorne had to play in Madison County, it'd be hard for them to win over there because Boot Hill is a tough environment for any team in the state to win in. If Coach Thomas could correct his demons, we will leave Madison County advancing to the state championship for the first time since '05. I'm not giving a score, but I really hope we learn from our mistakes from last year's Madison loss and take it and fuel us and play smart, clean football and go in there with our heads straight and take care of the job done. I want you guys to win, but for some odd reason, I feel like something bad's gonna happen. And I don't want to feel that way because, like I said, last 5 years were either the second, the third, fourth, and fifth round, 5 straight years, and we lose at the horn each one of those 5 years. Last year's loss to Madison County was right there, up 10-0 in the fourth quarter. We lose. The Chiefs game 3 years ago. The Northview game 2 years ago. I could go on all night about this, but if we correct our previous history of closing the game out when it matters the most and finishing games and out coach our opponent, we could see Hawthorne for the first time in a state championship matchup. But we'll see. Not everybody sees it that way. A lot of people see them underdogs, which I totally respect that because Madison has played better teams. But I think Union County this year is a team of destiny and finally corrects their demons and advance to the state championship. That's my prediction.
You watch SEC
The
shorts?
biggest thing I will say,
Oh, my bad. I was
the big,
asking about the SEC shorts thing
I
because
love
they talk
watching it.
about so battered Aggie syndrome. You got like that caged tiger syndrome. Like I don't want to feel like something bad's gonna happen, but you're just used to something bad happening.
They just, man, it's like you have like I'm the batter syndrome guy. Even though I'm part, the Aggie person was in the video.
Yeah.
I was hope for Georgia. Hope was for
Oh, you're the
Georgia.
hope. Your hope.
Yeah,
Ah,
it's just, man, it's like you want to feel like you're gonna win. It's just something just don't feel right. And you going the Tigers had not won at Boot Hill in a long time. And the Tigers have to go back
yeah.
to Boot Hill again for the second time in the calendar year to play for a spot in the state championship game. That's a tough place to win at. So, I mean,
What do you
Madison
think,
win.
Hunter? They're gonna pull it out. What are you supporting Union on this upset too?
I'll say this as someone that I have seen Madison play this year. The one thing that stood out to me, they are they're not really that strong of a passing team, but they can run that ball really well. My question to you: how is Union's front seven specifically against the run?
Well, if you go look up, Hunter, you don't mind looking up, Robert, you look up U County's defensive statistics against the run this year. If I'm not mistaken, one of the better run defenses, actually one of the better total defenses in the state, in the rural classification. My whole thing is, it's not the defensive thing. It's really our offense been killing us in big playoff matchups over the years. People say it's coaching. Coach Thomas calls all of our offensive plays. So what happens to offense, unfortunately, is on his show because he calls the offensive plays. I just want us to finally get to a state championship game. We might not win it, but I want us to win a at least get to a state championship game. Something we haven't done in almost 20 years. We have a team to get there, so it's been a great year, both sides of the ball. We're throwing the football a lot more than we have been over the last two seasons. Trent Clown's having a career season through the air. Gavin Jenkins, our leading receiver, is a D1 receiver. I mean, 6'2", 6'3", could play with the best of them, could play both sides of the ball. He's actually our starting quarter as well. Shutdown corner, very physical receiver. And then Drew Simmons, who clipped 1,000-yard rushing about through 2 or 3 games ago. He's a sophomore. That man got wheels. He's like a mini Darren Sproles out there in his prime with the Chargers. That man, when he gets open field, nobody catching him. Most dangerous running back I've seen all year in the air. I'm not being biased, but to be able to be a sophomore and put the numbers he's put up is crazy. So this is first year as a full-time starter. So we'll see how we what are the statistic numbers this year on the defensive side for the Tigers.
Have it on Max Preps. I couldn't find some good yardage numbers or anything right there at all. With breaking it down to
Look at
team
the
stats
Chiefs
like
game.
tackles for loss.
Look at the Chiefs statistical numbers against Chiefs. I know we lost that game, but that's part of one of our better games we played this year, better teams we played this year.
Go see what I can figure out here for that
Because I have an
game.
account for Max Spread. I still have it on the phone with me. But I know you kind of had at
It's
least
got
about 4 or 5 shutouts.
tackles,
But
sacks. Dang, y'all had 5 sacks against Chiefland. Let's see. And talks about tackles.
you don't have team stats for like 40
Chiefland.
yards, all that stuff.
No, it doesn't. It's got some scoring stats, PAT, field goals, conversions, offense. It's got,
Yeah, a lot of
but on
schools don't put
defense,
their
it says
total
number
stats
of
up there.
tackles, solo assists, total tackles, tackles for loss. It has sacks. It has interceptions, interception yards, passes deflected. Man, sorry, bud.
Yeah, a lot of schools don't put their total all stats up there like that. Some schools do. Like earlier in the year when I was looking up, we held one of the premier passing duos. I know they didn't even play nobody, but I know you heard at the beginning of the year. We played Zarephath Academy. Their quarterback receiver combo was tops in the nation, top five in each category. At one point, the receiver was averaging almost 200 yards a game, and the quarterback was top five in the nation in passing yards. Even though they didn't play nobody, but the face of duo of that dominance earlier in the year was pretty amazing. We shut the boys down to like 14
Well,
points.
Chiefland still had 211 yards rushing on a 5.1 average that game if you go to Chiefland's offensive stats. Uh, so let's see. If you
That's the
look
most we
at it
allowed all year.
Against Williston, Chiefland only had 84 yards rushing. But then you go to somebody like Mayo, they had 383. Against Dixie, they had 238. Against Trenton, they had 251.
So they're
And
averaging about
Madison's probably a better rushing team than them too.
a way better rushing team, physical rushing
Yeah,
team. But Max
that's
don't
what
throw the football at all. Like Max will throw the ball
when
like 3 or 4 times a game.
when I tell you like Williston should have won that first game of the season. I mean, how do you hold somebody to in high school to 167 total yards and like lose the game?
Right.
Like it just felt weird, man. Like I really think Williston's got the defense to beat Hawthorne this year. Sorry to jump back up to the top, like because I think Madison's probably gonna win against Union and Boot Hill because I think Madison's gonna run the ball. I think you're gonna end up seeing like a return, like because you know how everybody's been airing it out, airing it out, airing it out. Like I think rural this year is going to be who's the toughest and plays the best defense. And I think right now the two best defenses in this entire bracket are in Boot Hill and in Williston.
I gotta
Well,
agree with that. With the rushing attack that they gave up to Chiefland and Madison's rush attack being better, Union's gonna have to find a way to slow down Madison's rushing attack if they want a shot of winning in Boot Hill. But I
I
have to
agree.
lean Madison in a close one there.
I agree. I say better whoever slows the team down the best wins the game. So whoever
Mhm.
outmuscles the other will win. A lot of people already have Madison the favorite. We know that as well. We got to come out there and play our brand of football, play what we know our strengths is, and take care of business. And that's all we can do is play what we know best. That's Tiger brand football. So
But I hate to say it, it's like Williston's been misseeded. I, I think that was a game that these guys just kind of got hosed on that. Here, let's see. Like if you go and you take a look at, oh my gosh, Max Preps is like the worst website when it comes to just auto playing videos in the background. Holy
right.
smokes. Uh, I'm trying to pull up all the Williston ones because like Williston's Williston's Russian stats, like they ran for 288 against Land O'Lakes. They ran for 400 against Zephyr Hills Christian Academy. They ran for 315 against Trinity Catholic of Ocala, 221 against Eastside, and Eastside was a playoff team. They stopped sending some of the stats in to Max Preps to get some more of that information, but just so you can see like some of the things they were able to do. But like let's go and take a look at East Side, right? And let's take a look at some of their stats and what they were able to do against some of their opponents and everything. So the when you look at how they were able to perform offensively, um, Williston held them to one of their lower outputs rushing the ball, like except against Buchholz. Buchholz just absolutely smacked them. But they were able to still only have 56 yards in the air against Williston. Buchholz gave up 99. Right, like when I'm telling you, like I think Williston's got the defense to pull off a deep run. I got Williston versus Madison in the Villages, with Madison pulling out something like 21-14, unfortunately.
Well, all we can do now is just wait and see what happens, man.
Yeah,
This is going to be interesting. This rule classification is going to be part of the most interesting state series of them all. Like I said, 2A is probably second right now, in my opinion. I think that 2A classification is going to be crazy. We still got 4 through
yep.
7 to do, but I think that's all we have for tonight, guys.
We're doing the 4 through 7 Thursday, right?
Correct. That's correct. For myself, Charles Jackson, Jack Sports Media, Williston Sports Station host Robert Mack, and 792 Florida Sports, Hunter Williams. I signing off for tonight's episode. We'll see you on Thursday for classes 4A through 7A, and we're gonna give out some yearly awards. Something different now. We're gonna give out some awards for best team of the year, disappointing team of the year. We got some more stuff. We'll think about some stuff. We'll do like our first ever high school football final sports awards. So
Are we doing this for the entire state or just the area?
Well, keep it the area. I hadn't seen enough of the state to really be able to speak to them.
But really for the area, I'm talking about like for the Gainesville, Lake City, Live Oak, this area, North Central Florida area. No higher than no further south than like Ocala, and no further up north than like Swanee, in that little cluster.
All right.
So y'all guys go ahead and start thinking about nominees and awards, and we're gonna start compiling all together. So by Wednesday we'll have our list, and we'll put a vote poll on the Facebook page on North Central Florida Football Prep of all the nominees we're gonna have for our show Thursday, and then you will decide who will win each award. So we'll have the nominees out no later than say Wednesday afternoon, guys.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So we'll have a list, and I'll post all the nominees and the award for each category, and you decide who wins the vote for each award. I appreciate y'all guys signing up for y'all guys, and we'll see y'all Thursday night for classes 4A through 7A play